welcome so much. I guess, first of all, how would you prefer that we address you? You have so many titles that we can choose from.
Whatever your heart desires.
All righty. Well, I'm Jeff Gleitz. I'm the department head. I've got Lisa Willard, who I believe you've had conversations with on LinkedIn before.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really just here to stand aside and let Nikila and take control. So I'm recording the session, and we'll be happy to provide you with a link to the video afterward. And but this is Nikila's thesis and the panel review. So
well, I already want to say that this is one of the best theses. Oh, and don't mind my halo. Let's see if I can fix that. That yeah. Let me see. It'll pass. It's the sun over my office. I have windows. I live in the woods, and so around this time, it passes over. Yeah, I do want to shout out that this is one of the most, I get called into this a lot, and this is one of the, well, I'll be honest, this is the best one yet. Okay, this is the best one yet, because it takes action. It's just not a design project. We're really going to have a really good in time of engagement, and I'm really excited, and congratulations, Nikita, for
thank you.
Oh yeah, for most likely to succeed, and with that, you've already succeeded. That's a big job. that's a big kudo already. So I only expect more from you, and I'm really excited about this. This is very assertive, and I got to give you an A+ over. So pass fail. Yeah, when I was in seminary, they didn't have grades. When I was doing theological work, it was just honors with distinction, pass or fail. There was nothing in between. So I give you honors with distinction. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I challenged her. I don't know whether I challenged in the email, but
yes.
To write a commentary and a reflection that goes in the library. I don't know what the guidelines for this. You want to go down in some scholarship footnote for this. So whether that's already in the guidelines, I don't know. It could have been. If not, go the extra.
I started writing.
There will be an artifact. Yes.
Okay. Yes, please. So make a scholarship of it, a footnote, and congratulations. So how can we start? I'm gonna let you guys start, and whatever you want to do, I'm here.
Okay, awesome.
And I also want to say thank you, Jeff and Lisa. You guys have, to support her is to support me, and to support me is to support all of us. And I really am very, very grateful. You have no idea how grateful I am. Every time I have an opportunity like this, it's so meaningful for me. And, it's really true. If I've ever signed an email that says anything, anytime, or anytime, anything, that's how I got out here with this. I've been doing this since before Nikita's age, and I'm just, like, I have another little thing that I say, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. So this is what we do.
Yeah.
So let's get busy.
That's right. Well, I'll let Jordan and Elijah take over and start to share some of their work.
Okay.
I know I sent 2 pieces of artwork from Jordan and a link to Elijah's Behance. Elijah, are you able to screen share?
I don't think I can, but because I'm on my phone right now, because I'm actually at work.
Okay.
But I'm in the process of moving to a different location, so I should be able to.
Well, I have studied. So if you can't present, I've studied your what was sent, and
I can share.
Okay.
There you go.
Now, guys, I'm tough. Okay. I'm tough. All right. So, do you want me to start now, Nikita?
Yes.
Okay.
Which project?
Well, what I want to do is counter space. Let me talk. I want to talk about the portfolio overall because there's areas of opportunity, and I want to start with where I saw strength. Okay. I really enjoyed this typeface, and I really enjoyed seeing the it takes a lot to create a face and to be consistent with it and in its treatment. So I really enjoyed the consistency of the usage of the letters and the way that you develop both the lowercase and the uppercase. I think this is one of the strongest pieces in your portfolio. And I enjoyed this research study of the process, and I really, really enjoyed the merch. Okay. And the branding. And so one of the things only thing I had that was curious is your G, your Y, your Q, your Y. Did you study lowercase? This is lowercase family. G, J, Q, Y. Did you consider P as a response to Q? And I only ask that because these are your descending characters that you have. And that's the only place. I'm not saying it should be. I'm just saying as a designer, you have your descenders there, G, J, P, Q, Y, all have a familiar note. And that's going to be that little L foot ligature to the left, to the right. I would explore if the mirroring of the Q to the P helps your solution. I'm not saying it should. I'm just asking if it can, because I also thought, was that a ascending factor in your B, D, H, etc., and not necessarily. I just don't want to see a face that I see a J, G, Q, and Y, and then P relates more to the D. Okay, so you're the designer. I'm not saying there's right or wrong. I'm saying that when I look at it, then the first thing that comes to mind when I see this as a whole pattern of a visual pattern, should the P marry the Q? All right. And only you can answer that. I can't answer that. And so I'm always about making sure things are consistent. Something doesn't flag out, oh, that's a mistake. If it's intention, then you're the designer. If it's, oh my God, I didn't think about it, let me make a decision, I think you should. And I want to go over, so I really like this. And as a branding tool, for a particular product, you could translate this into a real scenario, and it's solid because the way that you produce the merch and, the little branding, blowing it up and so forth. I think this is one of your strongest pieces. Can you put me on gallery so I can speak to him directly? Okay. Elijah, our business is business to business. I want you to take what I'm getting ready to say as insight. What we do is, as designers, wherever we are, publication, branding, it is a business to business skill. The only thing, this is not fine arts. This is commercial work. And when I take a broad stroke of your portfolio, it could be more specific to corporate America and businesses. And what I see in a broad stroke, okay, is your content is too metaphysical, which will disqualify you from the thousands that are trying to get into this business, unless you want to brand candles and essence and such, and oils and such. Your book overall shows me you have skill. It shows me you've been to design school, but it shows me you want to work for a candle company. It's too metaphysical, love. You've got tarot, chakra, black cats, bee ointment, haunted sorcerer. I'd look at your portfolio and I'm like, oh my God, it's the content that throws me off. Okay, and I need you to embrace that wholeheartedly, because when you go out, this is going to be an impression. Your book is metaphysical, okay? And the content throws me off. You even got Voodoo Queen or something or the other. And I'm like, oh. Now you can take that for what it's worth. I want to see toothpaste. I want to see cell phones. I want to see cereal boxes. I want to see perfume. I want to see, I hate to say it, I want to see sneakers. I don't want to see a whole book of, oh my God, we're working for the beach shop on the corner. And the solutions of like one in particular concerned me. Your palette, the pink and black, love, I don't mean to offend. I want to give you a caveat to this business. It looked like an adult club. The pink and the black look like the adult club on the strip. This book is way too adult and way too metaphysical. Now, I'm just, you call me in you call me in the critique. And one of the things that I want you to be concerned about is your Photoshop skills. Okay, your Photoshop skills. Your silhouettes, they've got to fade and blend. These images are now popping out. They're coming right out of the computer screen and right into my lap. I see your edges. That's skill. That's commanding the technology. All right. So I need you to uptick that, because now you're fighting out here with AI imagery that looks like it's coming right. In a minute, I'll be hologrammed into Florida. Okay. So I don't want you to get lost in Photoshop, that you can't edge, you can't fade, you can't skew. You got to uptick that, because the stuff now out here is looking incredible. It's like, oh my God, is this real? And now you're competing with AI. All you got to do is think it. Can you put this on top of that? And boom, it's all in Adobe and everything. You're going to have to compete with this. Okay. So my strongest take with you, and I'm tough. Tell me I'm wrong. Help me see something else. You can, being Cheryl Miller professor doesn't mean you can't, and that's also a part of it. Advocating for your work, having conversation back, defending your work. All right. My content is my issue. What you're giving me is my issue, not your art, not your design, not even the concept of it. Okay. It's the content of it. All of your work is metaphysical, son. And that's not going to help you in advertising unless you're advertising, marketing, design, whatever it is, wherever you're going with this to present this book. I don't know, you might want to get in the metaphysical lane. I'm just saying that you have identified yourself. Listerine, Toothpaste. Okay. General Foods, business to business. The content of your book alarmed me, and I'm going to leave you there with it. That's not to offend, but to let you know that if you get out here and nothing's happening for you, it's your content is throwing folks off. Okay? Can you receive that? I don't know what you can do with that, but you guys invited me. Okay? So I love you. I need you to break this story up a little bit and work on those photos, Photoshop. You're competing now. You're not even competing with Photoshop production department or the Adobe Suite skills, okay, that you should have mastered in order to graduate. I'm not even, you're competing with AI now that makes this stuff, it's on Adobe now. It's in one of your drop down. I'm like, oh my God, you're competing with that. We all are. So with that said, you want to ask me anything? Are we still friends? You still love me? We're tight, but we're right. I'm sorry on this one.
No, Cheryl, it's definitely okay. I think just for me, it's all a learning experience because before coming here, I had no knowledge of any of the Adobe softwares before coming here. So everything was still a bit of a learning step on my end. But then also, I didn't start off in graphic design my freshman year. I started off in motion design. And so I was still learning how to, or still like learning how to focus on the graphic design aspect because this is technically my third year in graphic design. And I always just felt really self-conscious about my work because being like the new kid starting in sophomore year, I felt like I wasn't, like my work really wasn't the best. And I knew that it wasn't, but I always just felt like I was behind everyone else.
Understood.
But as I progressed and as I gotten better, I can see that like my work has significantly gotten better. And I feel like my artwork is an extension of who I am, and I am in the process of stepping outside of my comfort zone.
Okay. Can I ask you a question again? Let me ask you a question. What year are you?
I'm a senior.
Oh, you're a senior. You're going to graduate.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's just been a lot on my end because I feel like I put a lot of like my personal feelings into my art because I come from a Muslim family, and so like it's a lot of pressure, and I'm the first person in my family to finish all 4 years of college, and so on top of that, it's a lot for me to handle because while dealing with that, I'm also dealing with personal challenges in my life as well, and
I
it's been
understand.
really hard. And it's been really hard for me trying to express more of myself throughout my art, and so it's just really hard for me to try and find that middle ground.
Okay. So let me give this to you. Did you say you were Muslim?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, I'm a reverend. I don't proselytize through my work. Okay. The lay of the land is commercial. Okay. And one of the things that you can do, okay, given you're a senior, and now you're going to hit the deck running, go into Beyonce and look at the portfolios. Study the portfolios. All right. And remember, this is commercial work. And having yourself in it has nothing to do. Yourself in it has nothing to do with the performance in this business. That's fine art. Okay? So you know what to do. You can make some adjustments. And the adjustment is you need commercial work in your portfolio. To be competitive, you need commercial work, representation, okay, of what the business is reflective of. Okay, so I spent a lot of time on you. Now we got to go talk over.
Yeah, to Jordan.
To Jordan. Okay,
Yeah.
Jordan.
Yes.
We've got 10 minutes, just as a heads up, we've got 10 minutes until when we announce that the panelist discussion would be
Okay.
in. So we might be getting people, we won't see them on screen, but we might get people that are joining in
Okay.
the session. And I have a message ready that says we're finishing up portfolio reviews to send to everyone. So
Okay. All right. Jordan, tell me about your work.
Okay, so I have been creating posters for my debut album. I'm a business major. Last semester I got to join the graphic design club, and I've always like had an interest in graphic design, and I've always wanted to dabble with it and start playing with it. And I got to make a couple of posters for my show that I'm going to be putting on here in the next couple of weeks. This is the first one that I did. This is the one that I did in the club. And that background image of me with a bunch of eyes on like my hands and my face and stuff, I actually took photos that I took that summer, like a year ago. And I made like a physical piece. So that's like an actual physical piece that I made by hand, scanned in, and a typeface that I worked on with a friend of mine my sophomore year. And we put those all together to start ideas for like promotional work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other?
And the other one, hold up, let me stop sharing this.
So are you in the department? What's your major? What are you graduating with? And so
I'm graduating with a Business of Art and Design degree, BFA.
okay. And so what I'm looking at, is that reflective of all your design work? Just you want me to comment on the posters, or are you just focusing on what you want to do is to do this music branding?
I would love for you to comment on the posters for sure. Like if you have any insight, because I'd love.
Can I see the second one?
Yeah, of course. All right, let me pull that one.
So what I'm asking is, do you have a commercial portfolio beyond these posters, or you're graduating too, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I do. I've been building it out for the past couple of months with my department heads.
Okay.
My website.
All right. Well, with that said, I can't comment on what you didn't send me, and we don't have time for you to go through the rest of your work. But if you want me to comment on the posters, well, you have the second one up?
Yeah, here you go. And this is one that I recently made with a friend of mine as well.
Okay. Now where would these posters be, like on the kiosks at bus stops? How big is this blowing up?
We're gonna start printing them actually this weekend. I'm hoping they're gonna be, I don't know, I don't know dimensions, but I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
It's like the regular
I'm just trying to think, is this gonna be on a billboard? This gonna be on the back of a bus?
It's gonna be on like street lights and the school as well, like in elevators and stuff like that.
Okay. Given the nature, I find them extremely heavy.
Okay.
Okay. And the type is fighting, your palette is very heavy for the image. All right. And I find the type, if it's a poster, I find the palette of the type fighting with the visual narrative. Okay. It's all dark. I'm having a hard time reading it. And it's not because of the computer, it's your images. All right. So how to bring the type forward is going to be palette. Even if the type was white, I'd read it better. So the visual narrative is dark in both. It's very, very heavy, which makes it difficult to read your text. So I would explore lightening the text, yellow, white, peach, something with some glow around it or something. Pull it away. Okay. And so I'm struggling to read it. And so it could, and we've got digital tools now. You can glow it, pull it out, you can make it 3-dimensional. You can do a lot of things with the type because your background images are very, very thick and they're heavy and they're dark. And I can't. So let's go back to the other one. it's just not gonna hold up at a distance. You need to change the type color, because I can't, it's fighting with the image. And this image is so busy, it's fighting with your typography, and I can't read it. Even if you put a drop shadow on the typography, I'm gonna see it. So my issue with both of these posters, I can't read them. I can't read them because of the background image. And if you do something to spruce that up, it'll work. And what I said was, you emboss it, you glass it, make it drip 3-dimensional, a couple of drop shadows, take down the color, brighten it up, so it's peach, yellow, white. I can't see it. Okay, and that's going to be a struggle when you blow it up.
Okay, thank you.
And so, and I would assume you love those images. So we're not even going to talk. We're not even going to talk about the images. Let's make the posters work.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not going to make comment on the images other than they're very heavy and they're fighting with the type. You got to get your type up so I can read it at a distance. And the other one doesn't have enough. I can't see your bottom border with time, place, and location, that kind of thing. So you need to work with that. If you like that border effect, give yourself some more border, bring the type up so I can read it. Right now your posters aren't reading.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
Just change the palette of the type and do something to bring it out of those dark images.
To make it pop more.
Oh, yeah. There's enough effects of glowing and spinning and
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what to do. Make it pop. Exactly. Right now it's very flat, hard to read. Color and effect will take you forward. This is digital. Come on, stretch it. I tell you, you're competing with AI.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Nikita. What am I going to tell you most likely to succeed? Okay. I reviewed it all. Let's see. I love the consistency of Ebonics.
Ebonics, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, Ebonics. You didn't need. That's the name. You didn't need the IS. It's just
Okay.
Ebonics. Yeah, you don't need the IS on the end. It's just Ebonics. I like the typeface. I like the. It was very consistent to your process, your thought process for, typefaces. The key is your thicks, your thins, your strokes, and the consistency. If you're going to do it here, you got to do it there. And so, actually, I like the typeface a lot. And yet again, it is, if you ask me, the typeface is more sophisticated than your name.
Okay.
There's nothing Ebonics about the typeface. It looks pretty Swiss to me. Okay. It looks metal engineering. It could cross over into a lot of places. But when you label and name it, that's something that's cultural. I'm like, your typeface doesn't look Ebonics. Okay. It's very, not that Ebonics isn't sophisticated, but Ebonics is cultural. And so right. Everything doesn't have to be, just because we're Black designers, everything doesn't have to be Black design. And who knows Ebonics but you and me? Okay, so, and the typeface looks like international typeface. Why limit? If I'm looking at a catalog, imagine Adobe picks this up. And I'm reading names. And let's say I don't see any letters. And I just see type designer, Nicola Winfield, Ebonics. Let's just say I see that. Okay. Let's say I just see that, right? I wouldn't open it. I'm like, I don't need a cultural typeface. I need something straightforward, this, that, and the other. So be careful with that as a BIPOC designer. Not everything has to come from our lens. It's a sophisticated face that you don't want to limit its usage, its impression, its interpretation, because we put a cultural tag on it. We don't have to express ourselves. It's a competitive typeface that Adobe could pick up. And in a catalog, in a when we're only 1, 2, 3% of the community out here, okay, you want to cross over and stay over, okay?
Okay.
Okay, you have to be bilingual. It's a time that there's a time to do electric slide and there's a time to waltz, okay? And in this business, okay, in this business, you have to know how to hold them and fold them with that. You got a great typeface. Change your name. It's not necessary because it's very sophisticated. And I liked your process and your thought, and it's consistent. The name could distract. Imagine if Adobe picked it up. There's no need to be cultural with your name. Your work, there's a reason why you're a designer to watch. All right. You've got, oh, my favorite, believe it or not, I like the Lone Star Skillet because I like the storytelling of the merch, the branding, the usage, the point of purchase. You know, I liked the storytelling. It was more than a logo. It was more than a palette. Okay. You gave me an experience, what to expect. Okay. And, you know, like Trader Joe's, you all have Trader Joe's down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get, you know, or Texas Roadhouse, you got that down there? Texas Roadhouse. You're giving me your storytelling. I enjoyed it. If that's what I want, in other words, I'm looking for a restaurant and I'm on a strip and I'm looking, if that's what I want, you drew me in. And the story of this guy's blindedness, blah, 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 blah. Good job with that. And your work is exactly reflective of competitive senior portfolios that I see across the country. And lean into the fact that you got that acknowledgement.
Okay.
Lean into it and use it. So I can tell you, okay, I'm senior critic. I'm across the country in 3 schools, which is, Jeff, it's incredible. Pandemic threw me out like this, and I'm across the country. I start on Monday morning, I teach 12 hours. And I go right across the demographic of the United States and design students. I started Howard University at 9 o'clock. It was totally African-American. By 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'm in University of Texas Austin Design, that's border. The diversity there is incredible, okay? And diversity Latinx, we got kids from Guatemala, Ecuador, Mexico, and you gotta know your nuances. And then an unusual East Indian, Middle Eastern, Syrian, Iranian, you know, and then a mix of Pan-Asian. It's very, very diverse. And everybody's coming in. All right. And then by 6 o'clock, I start my day all over again because I'm at Art College, Pasadena. And I start 5 hours. And 98% of the community is Pan-Asian. 1 Black, 1 or 2 white kids. I'm just giving you what's out here. Okay. And Pan-Asian is just that, Korean, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, and then they could be mixed Asian. So, you know, a dad is Chinese, mom is Filipino, but all Asian, okay? And the differences in the schools. So I'm across the elite schools, I'm across the universities, and I'm called to do senior critic. So I see portfolios across the country. I did Leslie Boston. Okay, I know my community at RISD. I know my community at MICA. You have a competitive senior portfolio.
Thank you.
Now I need you to, one of the things, I know Don't worry, you can have me till we're done. Okay? My husband gave me a little snack and something to drink. I'm here till we're finished. Okay? And I always say with this, there's some mottos online. If I don't tell you, who will? And you may never hear this kind of critique again. You have a competitive senior design portfolio, and you have an industry acknowledgement. We can talk offline. What do you do next? This thesis is assertive, and I want you to knock it out the park with a document with some footnotes, and get it in the library. Draw your conclusions. And Jeff and Lisa, what I'm going to tell you, you know this to be true. You hashtag Jeff, you hashtag Lisa, and you make sure you hashtag Cheryl Miller. Because who else is going to tell you? You may never get this kind of critique again. So remember, you're competitive, you have industry recognition, go forth.
I will. Thank you.
Okay?
Okay.
I'm over time.
Fantastic.
I hope that helps.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. And the rest of it, you can see me on LinkedIn, like what to do next when you're in the summer.
Okay.
Well, this is fantastic. We've got our attendees have been coming in, and I've let them know that we were finishing up the portfolio. So welcome to everyone who's coming in a little later. You all know me, but I wanted to just introduce Lisa and Nikila. Without Lisa's leadership in the senior portfolio class, we wouldn't be having this thesis project that Nikila is introducing. So I turn it over to Lisa and Nikila.
And once again,
Oh,
I
I think you're muted.
want to thank everybody. This is such an honor.
I have been asked to introduce Nikila, who really needs no introduction at this point, but it is my first full year at Ringling, and we decided to do the portfolio class in a new way, which everyone's fondly now calling thesis. I am from a background of research, writing, more research, and creating an artifact that has meaning beyond just the thing you put on Behance. So I tasked this group with creating something new and unique that will be installed in a gallery. We have enough branding projects. You've seen all that. And when this was given to Nikila, she immediately started reading some really great books, like this one, if we can see, and the Black, Brown, and Latinx design educators, and so on. She started doing a lot of deep research. And we talked about people like you and others who are doing this work, Omari Souza, and so many names that I suddenly have forgotten. But she was really interested in the idea of continuing this discussion of where are the Black designers and where are the Black graphic design students. And so I encouraged her to reach out to you. And here we are tonight. I'm absolutely thrilled for what we hope is only the beginning of an ongoing discussion.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Nikila, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Nikila Winfield, and I'm from North Carolina. And this design discussion panel is a part of the Graphic Design Senior Thesis. Where are the Black designers was a question that was coined by Ms. Cheryl D. Miller in her thesis, Transcending the Problems of the Black Graphic Designer to Success in the Marketplace. And it was done in 1985. Now it's 2023, and this question is still relevant. There's always a chance to learn more by listening to others. So that's why I have put together this dynamic panel to help answer some questions. So let's meet our panel. When I call your name, please introduce yourself, where you're from, your major, and a little bit about why you are on the panel. And I'll start off with Miss Miller.
Miss Miller is not going to occupy all of this. Miss Miller, while we're talking right now, just Google me. Okay. And I'm so grateful that I have a Wikipedia page and I'm not dead. I'm alive. So with that, I'm honored. Just do me a favor while we're talking. If you got all, see, I got all devices going. Okay. So the one that's free, just put in Cheryl D. Miller and all of that will pop up. And thank God I have a Wikipedia page. But I've been doing this work since I was 17 years old. And my alma mater just recognized the thesis and the first article that got published from the thesis, 35-year anniversary of, Pratt just put in there, we have a book, alumni book called Prattfolio, and they just acknowledged my work for 35 years in this. So that's who I am, and just Google and let's go to the next.
All right, next is Jesse.
Hey, nice to meet you, Miss Miller. I'm Jesse. I'm a senior in photography and imaging at Ringling. I'm born in Haiti, but grew up in Lakeland, Florida. So I've been in the area for quite some time. And Nikila came to me, I guess, a few days ago, maybe last week, about being a part of this panel. I was excited, and one of the reasons I joined is because my work focuses a lot on diversifying the art field, especially diversifying photography and the images we see, and kind of having Black subject matter. So I was excited to kind of join this panel and be able to talk about that from that point of view.
Okay, great.
Awesome, CJ.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm CJ Callens. I'm from Plant City, Florida, and I'm a senior in film. I'm here to really support Nikila. Nikila has done some great work since she's been here at Ringling, and Nikila is also helping me do my thesis. She's the graphic designer for Contagious Swagger, which is my thesis film. So she's going to make a movie poster, going to help me with some promo material. And also, I'm just the only Black film major in my class. So I don't get a chance to work with other Black artists. So as soon as another Black artist want to work with me, I will jump on that ASAP. So thanks, Nikila, and I'm glad you invited me.
Yeah, thanks for accepting the invite. Kia.
Mute. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Kia. I am a junior in the business department here at Ringling. I'm originally from Houston, Texas. Now I live in Punta Gorda, Florida, so an hour away. I wanted to join this panel because I'm starting a Black Student Union on campus. So this is gonna help me with the designers in general of having Black students here on our campus and getting them involved in everything and aspects. So yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. And last but not least, Ja'Cory.
Hello, thank you. And before I introduce myself, I just have to recognize Nikila and all the people that came through to put this together. Thank you, Nikila, for your dedication and bringing such an important conversation to the forefront. So my name is Ja'Cory Hall, and I'm an African American artist from Brooklyn, New York. I'm currently an elementary art instructor in Manatee County, working towards my master's degree in art education and working as a freelance private illustrator and the CEO of my very own art business.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm on this panel today as a successful graduate of Ringling College of Art and Design illustration class of 2022. When I first came to the college back in 2018, I was one of the few Black students whose presence helped to increase the school's diversity status. And after 4 years holding work study position as an admissions tour guide, I became a face of positive energy and Black representation for the incoming prospective students of color who were interested in that school.
Amen. Great. Thank you so much for your contribution and your performance already.
That's right. Well, thanks, everyone. Now that we have met our panel, I want to dig into what this night is about and just getting a clear understanding of what it means of where are the Black designers and where it came from. So, Ms. Miller, what inspired you to write the thesis, Transcending the Problems of the Black Graphic Designer to Success in the Marketplace, and pose the initial question?
Okay, so there's and if you want more of this conversation on my YouTube, there's a full lecture on the history of the advocacy. Okay, the first part of inspiration, okay, for this thesis was I wanted to graduate from Pratt. I wanted to graduate from Pratt. I was in grad school and studying design, and I had moved into New York and decided I was going to go to grad school. I didn't know how long I would be in New York, and they were kind enough to, based on, I went to grad school 10 years after my undergraduate work, and really accompanied my husband to New York City on a career move with him. He's a businessman, and his company moved us, and I found myself in New York. And not knowing how long I would be there, I said, well, all the great schools are here. Let me go to grad school. And Pratt had just started their graduate program. And they reviewed my portfolio and gave me half of the degree based on 10 years of performance and my portfolio. And they told me to take the balance of the classes, pay tuition, and that I did. I took business. I took classes around their catalog that would expand my knowledge as a designer, but I did other things. I was interested in business, and picked up courses and things that I didn't necessarily need as a designer, but I needed to do other things. And business was, they had business management, design business management. So when I got down to the end of the program, the chairman of the department called me in. I said, okay. He called me in and he gave me the announcement. Ms. Miller, you can't do a design project to graduate. You can't do a design thesis. And I said, okay, I'm in design school and we can't do, we can't do a design project. He said, no, that's going to be too easy for you. So we let you in here. It was easy. You're not getting out easy. And I said, okay. So immediately I knew that I was going to have to write my way through this graduate degree. So part one of this is I wanted to graduate. I was at the end and they wouldn't let me do a design project. It was too easy. And the last thing my chairman, Eitan Manasseh, he's gone on now, he said, I don't know who else they said. I don't know how else everybody else, the seniors were graduated, the graduate class, I have no idea. He told me, he said, I need you to make a contribution to the industry. Those were his exact words. And I knew right then and there that the contribution was, I was going to have to solve my community's problem. And I had come up from the mid-Atlantic and I had seen the problem. I saw that we weren't in the business. I saw that we, as a Black community, we weren't particularly equipped. Okay, and the problems that it created. And I did everything I could do from 10 years of being a designer in Washington, D.C. I led workshops, I did portfolio reviews, I helped as much as I could the community that I saw. And I knew the problems. I saw designers in the mid-Atlantic that couldn't find next steps, had been trying, couldn't get next steps. There just weren't, there was a problem. The thesis, I analyzed the problem. And I had met Dr. Leslie King Hammond, who is an art historian scholar, African-American art historian, African art historian, art historian. And if you know anything about my story, I got a life's pivot. I was recruited right after the civil rights era, right after Martin Luther King was assassinated. I was recruited to Rhode Island School of Design. I went to RISD to paint. And just in art school, you claim your major sophomore year. My father passed away 2 weeks before I was to return to Providence, and for my sophomore year. But I had gone up there to paint, and he died. And the schools, I had to get back to my mom in DC. And so they counseled me, advised me, there's an art school in Baltimore, we can get you down there. And next thing I know, I was in Baltimore. I was at MICA. And Dr. King was a brand new PhD graduate from Johns Hopkins. She was an adjunct for, I believe, the first Black professor on campus. And she was assigned to help this little girl who thought she was going to be in Providence, now in Baltimore, with grieving the loss of a parent. She's half orphaned. And they put me in her care because she's the only Black professor. And I began journeying with her over a lifetime. And so when I got this proclamation from Pratt, the first thing I did was, she's a scholar. I said, Dr. King, these people aren't going to let me graduate doing an art project, doing a design project. I said, I got to write. And I enlisted her into being my reader and my academic coach. I'm always asked, why do you have a mentor? No, I have no design mentor. I've always had an academic mentor, and that's Dr. Leslie King Hammond. She's now emeritus at MICA. She is art history, African-American and African art historian, emeritus MICA. And I met her on her first job with a PhD from Johns Hopkins. And so at this juncture, I called her, I said, I got to write myself to graduation. Can you help me? And we wrote this thesis, and I analyzed the situation. What's disturbing is that a lot of it is still relevant. And this is the thesis in my life that keeps giving over and over again. Before social media, before all of this, I mean, the record of people asking me for my thesis is endless, endless. And I think, Lisa and Jeff, this is why I'm called to do senior capstone thesis work, because I know how to write a thesis and do a thesis that leads into your future. And the thesis then got published by Print Magazine in 1987. My findings worried me to the point where by this time I was in New York, and I had my studio, and I just walked myself in the thesis in an envelope with a yellow sticky, just like this, a yellow sticky. And I looked, back in the day, we used to get Print Magazine delivered, and I had them, I just opened them up. Martin Fox was the publisher. Down, I could walk to this, the offices, and I put a sticky on a copy of the thesis in a manila envelope, and I took it to the front desk. And I said, Mr. Fox, my name is Cheryl Miller. I'd like to have a feature article for my thesis. I think my findings are important. And I've been here ever since. I turned into a trade writer. The question I posed was Black designers missing in action. And I've written that trade article through 3 different eras, the first starting 1987. Maurice Cherry picked up, or I passed the baton, or we connected. And again, there's a full lecture on this, the history of where the Black designers advocacy. He met me and interviewed me, got involved with this work. He was doing a presentation for Southwest, and he contacted me and picked up the data. I like footnotes. Mr. Cherry likes data. And his presentation was extremely factual, and he brought my work into a statistical realm. And he is the one that moved missing in action, Blacks Missing in Action, which has been the branding from our articles for print. Black designers missing in action, Black designers still missing in action, Black designers forwarding action. He's the one that actually coined it and moved it into Where Are the Black Designers? And in a recent interview with him, he talks about how the question mark morphed. It morphed from, he had a friend asking him, where are the Black designers? I want to be able, I can't find any. And his friend's question, where are the Black designers, took hold as he hashtag pass the baton, join me with this, and he started writing for print. And I don't know the exact year, but early 90s, he wrote an article. He was with the AIGA diversity department, board. And he wrote an article where the little icon with the eyes, okay, bringing the legacy and the contribution, all the data, the facts, and all, and the essence of my thesis. He brought the whole thing current. There's a whole history that even precedes my work, but my work is the first work. You want to do first works. Mine is the first work that has a footnote. My work is the first piece of scholarship that analyzes, and that's what has been distinctive in this for my career, for my purpose, and in this orange book. Okay, and I'm challenging now that this book must be a part of every year's bibliography across AIGA, NASAD, universities and colleges that are teaching design. This, just like Meg's, just like Drucker, just like Hollis, this book must take a seat in annual bibliography. And curious, because my work is the first with a footnote, I'm noted in this book 12 times. And I only wrote 3 pages with intentionality, Lisa. I only wrote 3 pages because from the time I entered into now, this is 60, 70 designers that are writing 600 pages. I said, there are more people now than ever before. And I just submitted 3 pages. I said, I'm not gonna write 10 pages. I'm not gonna write 15 pages. I'm not gonna submit, okay? I'm gonna let all these new voices, current voices, additional stories. I submitted 3 pages, but this book has 12 footnotes. And they all start with Cheryl Miller's thesis. And that's extra bold. Everybody, you can't get past this story without the first footnote. And that's why, Nikita, I'm saying, document this. You're creating a footnote that can, you promote the story, you promote the findings. Okay, it's gonna lead you forward somewhere, somehow, because who has dared? I'm doing thesis all the time. I see thesis product. If I see another branding, they're all beautiful. That's, if you can't do branding and make pretty, you don't need to graduate. That's everybody.
Thank you.
And you have access. I'm trying to share with you how to do. You have access now. Well, Graphic Design USA. You can write the editor and say, I have, from a graduating lens, I have a story to tell. And what became distinctive is that, like Lisa said, and Lisa follows me, what became distinctive is I learned to write. Well, I've always been a writer. And so I say that because when I graduated from high school, my English teacher said to me on graduation, Cheryl, if you ever want to write, see me. I said, well, why didn't you tell me that when I was in your English class? Well, everybody knew you wanted to go to art school. And I had invitation well, I had 2 invitations for school. Rhode Island School of Design or Wellesley English Lit and Writing. I went to design and I know I can write. And the reason that I ended up doing theological work, Lisa, is what I leaned into to have a coach help me write the thesis. Doing theological work, my school is known for developing scholars and historians. So I learned the next level is more than just writing. So I learned to research. I learned continued. I'm a design social justice advocate. You know, I learned some other things that I needed to be a scholar. And so my first place of doing this work in documentation was I needed to graduate, and I knew there was a problem. They wouldn't let me do a design project. So I knew the best scholar, the one who took my hand when my dad died and led me into my future. Okay, we're gonna write this, and this is how we're gonna write it, and this is what we're gonna do. And it took flight. And you can't write this. The honor of this, Lisa, is you can't tell this story without my footnote. You can tell it without me, but you can't tell it without my documentation. I was the first one with a footnote. And that's the kind of performance. I don't care the race, creed, or color. This business, you want first brand name recognition. That means, don't you go to McDonald's and say, can I have a Coke, please? Well, we serve Pepsi. Coke will always be the first caller. You go to FedEx, can I have Xerox, please? Well, they got canning machines in the back. Xerox will always be. Can I have a Kleenex, please? Kleenex will always be tissue. First, not only first. Look for that gift and birth it first. It's the first thesis project I've been on, and I've seen them across the country. I just got finished doing a cameo at Rhode Island School of Design thesis show. Please leave your footnote.
I will. Thank you for explaining the history and background of your thesis. And I think that is the perfect segue into breaking down everyone's life story and getting to know each of the panelists a little bit better. So my next question is for everyone on the panel. Were you exposed to the visual arts from a young age, and how so? So I'll start with Jesse.
So I was, I came from a very musical family, so the arts was always something we had in the house. And I really began as a dancer, so being in the performing arts, and then sort of moved on to visual arts as I got into middle school. But I think that's kind of where it all started for me. I know I'm a photographer now, but I started and painting and drawing and kind of learning that sort of art history with that.
Awesome. CJ?
So yeah, kind of exactly like Jesse. I grew up in church, and at my church, my dad is the pastor and he's the owner. My dad implemented an art program at my church where once a week there'd be painting classes and bucket drumming classes for the youth. So I'd attend that every week. And then during church services, I would do camera, which I'm a film major now, so it kind of all started off at church. And I would do sound. I'm also a DJ, and that kind of also started off with church. So yeah, I was exposed as a kid.
Nice. Kia?
This is hilarious, but same, like kind of the same. My dad is a pastor. Like I grew up in church, like learning and like doing music, and so like alongside of Jesse, like performing arts, like that aspect and singing and just wanting to be a part of like not just like the business side, which I am business, but I want to be like an event manager. So like going into that aspect of being like a creative in the business atmosphere. Yeah.
Awesome. And Ja'Cory?
Yes. So as a child growing up, I was first introduced to art actually by my cousin, and I began to mimic the anime art style that she was skilled at. And then I started to develop my own artistic style, and then being exposed to that visual arts as at an early age and over time, it kind of helped me through the different art classes, after school programs, weekend workshops, and attending the specialized high school for the arts. I kind of had like arts surrounding me in every direction, and it kind of helped me to improve my craft and get a lot better at it. And then also having encouraging art teachers helped me to soar as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, kind of same, not really for me. I also grew up in the church and was in the choir and exposed to music, but there wasn't a lot of art classes and a lot of art in the community. So I didn't get introduced to the visual arts from a young age, besides drawing and coloring, as most children do, until I got into high school. And in high school, I attended an early college. So I traveled to a community college to take graphic design courses, except the graphic design courses weren't very challenging and didn't have like that rigor or sophistication within the education. So they would just hand us a book and then you open it and it tells you step by step what to do to create a piece. So when I first came to Ringling, that was my first true art class. Yeah, so moving into the next question, what advice would you give to BIPOC high school students looking to apply to an art or design school? And I'll start with Ja'Cory.
Yes. So I would definitely tell them to try their best, even though the different surrounding elements around them might be telling them otherwise, just try your best. That was something that really um, hit me hard when I came to Ringling. I was surrounded by peers who created amazing art and then professors who accepted nothing but the best quality work. So it was natural that I sometimes felt my work wasn't good enough or meeting their expectations like everyone else. And there were even times where, the tuition kind of messed with me and I was like, can't really, be here. I shouldn't be here. And then it really was something I was able to work towards and just prove everyone that was possible. And I was able to graduate debt free. So it's definitely possible.
Absolutely. And I know you also attended a high school, an art high school. So did they help you create a portfolio or were there other resources and scholarships perhaps that pushed you to Ringling or pushed you to attend an art or design college?
Well, when I actually chose to go to Ringling, it was like a personal thing. I was doing college hopping around different colleges and seeing which one would be the best fit for me. And when I visited Ringling, it was so beautiful. The campus was beautiful. And then seeing everything school had to offer, it became my top choice, even above other art colleges like the Maryland Institute College of Art, Otis College of Art, Rhode Island School of Design. So all those other schools, I chose to go to Ringling. And from that educational standpoint, they were the ones that were best suited in preparing me for the career I dreamed of. And they had the highest success rates in turning the student passions that I had into industry professions. And I was also the only person in my high school that applied to Ringling College. Everyone else wanted to go to, HBCUs and, the local art schools and things like that. And I was the one that decided to go far away, go to Ringling College. And I'm glad I gave them that chance. Now looking back, I'm glad I gave Ringling the chance because I was able to really make a mark there.
Thank you. Kia, what advice would you give to BIPOC high school students looking to apply to an art or design school?
I would definitely say to keep going, like push yourself, like if you like really want something, like keep striving towards that, like because a lot of people, I feel like in that generation too, like in high school, you're like, what are my friends doing? Like, where are you going? So it's like more of like, I really want like this thing. And I would just say, keep pushing for that and go like with what you want to do. Like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. I feel like a lot of times we get like swayed, like we get swayed by like what other people around us are doing, or what like what's the hype, what's the new fads. So it's, yeah, I feel like just like keep pushing yourself, like push yourself to where you want to go, like focus on like you in that moment. Yeah.
Awesome. CJ?
One thing I would advise them to do is look at their faculty and staff before they choose the school. Me specifically, I wish I would have done that a little more. That wasn't like a priority to me when I was choosing schools. But now that I'm in Ringling and in my senior year, I really wish I had just one Black professor to influence my art, to critique my art. You know, I've just never had that, and that is super important. Like, you don't even have to be like the most culturally, you know, connected person, student, artist, but how important that is like crazy. And to not have that at this level in my senior year is kind of frustrating. But yeah, just look at your faculty and staff.
Yeah. Do you think that you've missed out on anything from a cultural standpoint or an educational standpoint for
Um,
not having a Black teacher?
there's definitely been times, yeah. I mean, I've done the best that I can, but even just like a simple example, when I want to reference like a historically Black film in one of my films, you know, my current professors or even like the current students in my class, you know, don't get that reference. And it's like in my script. So like they're saying it wouldn't work, or they just don't understand it. So I have to take it out of my script. You know, in my most recent senior thesis film, I have a reference to Get Out in that film. You've seen it, so you know the exact scene I'm talking about. That was a struggle to, you know, keep in the script because, you know, the people around me just didn't get that. I feel like, I can't make any assumptions, but I feel like if I had a Black professor, I would be able to have more of those cultural references in my films.
Right. Jesse?
I think
Advice?
something I'd say. Oh, sorry. Were you?
Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, my bad, my bad. Yeah. So, an advice, you know, I'd kind of give is the importance of, you know, your voice and that sort of authenticity, especially when we're, you know, I guess being in a PWI, when you're kind of in a place where not a lot of people understand you. You know, there's this idea that you need to change, or you need to change your work to adjust for that matter. But that's when we start to lose ourselves. And I think that's kind of something CJ was touching on about, and, you know, when you don't have faculty and staff that come from that sort of same background as you, then there's, you know, you're trying to alter yourself. And I think that starts to take away from that. And as you know, so I did go to an arts high school, and I didn't really understand the role I had as a Black artist until I got to college, and the importance of my existence within this sort of field, you know, being so few of us. And so with that, there's the importance of like being, you know, true to yourself and remembering why you're in it. Like, what are you creating this work for? Is it for you? Is it for other people? And being careful on what sort of advice or things you're really listening to. You know, if you're straying away from who you truly are, or you're just trying to fit within a certain mold, that's, you know, whatever expectation there is. So I wish I kind of knew that as I was navigating high school. I never really thought about that being an issue. You know, it's just creating work just to create work. But once I got to Ringling, I started to realize how important just what I'm doing is for the people coming after me.
That's awesome. Thank you. So I heard the terms PWI and HBCU mentioned, and I want to make sure that our audience understands what that means. So an HBCU is a historically Black college or university. And those are the schools that were founded on the belief that every individual deserves access to a college or higher education. and a PWI is known as a predominantly white institution. And so that's also the perfect segue into the next question. From a culturally and educational standpoint, there is like a cultural understanding and acceptance in an HBCU that you may not find at a PWI. So then the question would be, why did you all choose Ringling instead of a HBCU? Does anybody want to start?
I'd love to start.
Okay.
So I actually didn't really know this until I actually joined Ringling. But when I figured it out, it was kind of like a system that I was able to use and kind of piggyback off of. But being an African American attending a predominantly white institution like Ringling was beneficial, and my presence was more impactful there than it would have been had I attended a historically black college or university, because right there, I could make a big difference and shed the light on certain issues that might already be known in an HBCU. Whereas we have people here that might not know about those issues, where we can bring that right to them, let them know. And I just wanted to be that person to make a big difference and be recognized for those different issues that I'm able to bring up with my work. And Ringling did make that possible.
Yeah,
CJ?
I agree exactly with what Ja'Cory said. My mom and my sister both graduated from the same college, FAMU, which is a HBCU. I've actually toured that school. I thought about going there. But other than what Ja'Cory had said, it's also, I just feel like our community, the HBCUs, we don't have the access to the type of equipment and technology that, I don't know if it's every PWI, but at least Ringling has. We have everything top notch. The cameras that I use in film, they don't have that at FAMU, So that was also another big thing, but yeah.
Can I answer some of that?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. This is the way I feel about it. And especially, I'm a professor at Howard, as well as all of these other institutions. I'm well-rounded all around when it comes to design and design education. I want to put it in perspective. Going to an HBCU, you will learn things, study things, discover things that you will never, ever, ever find at a PWI. There are things there that you will never find in a white institution. Number one. And we are in so you're asking either or, and apples and oranges. They're two entirely different experiences. And what I'm hoping that I can contribute, because I have spent the majority of my career in ACAD and ASAD, elite school environment. I'm hoping in this round, with being involved with HBCU and Howard, that I can help bring HBCU design education forward. And there are places to study design that are on the move, and there are hidden secrets. Like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay. And I'm hoping that my work with HBCU will help to bring us to the forefront of a global conversation about studying design in HBCU. There are places where things are happening and we don't know. So give you an example. Morgan State has one of the oldest recognized design programs in the HBCU family. Who knew that you could go study design at Morgan State? 20 years they have been a part, they've had an AIGA student chapter. You can Google Dr. Perry. Let me make sure I get it exactly right. Dr. Perry Sweeper wrote an article for AIGA celebrating Morgan State. Who knew? Where to study design, the ones that are listed, FAMU. Dr. Sweeper is a part of Morehouse. Kalina Seals is chair, okay, of Tennessee State. There are places that are underrepresented where you can study design. Okay, the difference is Howard is a liberal arts college, or HBCUs are liberal arts, and great places for fine arts, Tuskegee, Howard, Spelman. Okay, this is where the history of art in our environment, I mean, in HBCU colleges, we're known for our fine arts. And sociology and history and medicine and law, and oh my God, the great story of academicians and professors and professionals out of HBCU. You're going to get things there that you will never get in PWI or elite college art schools. So first off, there are spots, they're unknown, and I'm believing for change where the greater community learns that there are places. The second, when you go to an art school, that's what you study. It's not liberal arts. Okay, so you're studying by discipline in a specialized concentration where you can walk out with a bachelor's degree. You're not gonna get all these other things. So when you go in to a design education process, whether it be college, university, community college, a lot of people are doing community college and then do 2 years and then switch over to an elite school, blah, 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 blah. Know that it's specialized. You can't really compare the two. And what people are doing, what I have found some successful combinations, is that you go to grad school. You go to grad school. So my gentleman, CJ, you want to go to, look, graduating Ringling, you want to go to Howard's Film MFA program out of the film department. Go to school. And in reverse, one of my great stories was Chairman Professor Robin Lynch graduated Howard Design, and I inspired her. So Robin, this has been great. Go to design graduate school. She went to Yale. Now, you know, beautiful career out of New York, and now she's chair SUNY Design. Okay, so when you think of the long term of preparation, design school is design school, and HBCU is liberal arts. Okay, and you're going to get things in excellence depending on your school. Okay, you're going to get the best out of the best institutions that you go to. You're going to get two different experiences. Hold on a second. So with that said, understand the difference. It's not a less or more, better or not. They're two different experiences. and to strive to be in the best of either one is what we need to do. Okay. And if and Lisa, what's so interesting for me is I teach my one class across this platform, and I'm so moved by my Howard students because when they write, all my classes are writing classes, except for Art Center. I'm teaching publication design, but with this bend towards diversity. It's the same class, the same prompts, the same professor. And my Howard students write, and they write how appalled that our stories aren't incorporated in the history of the canon of graphic design. Same class, 2 different sets of papers. And when I read their reflections on the same class, it charges me to keep going and to inspire this class to do what Nikhila is doing, pick up making a difference and a contribution. So it's not left hand or right hand, but like a piano, if you look long distance, do them both. Because it will put you in a position where you can not only practice, but you can teach. The difference is you had no professors, so be a professor, son. Leave Ringling, you want experience? Howard has the best. They got a TV station, film department, off the chart. Go to grad school. Ringling, match them up. Perform, make your films, and be Professor CJ. Because we need Black professors who are qualified. And you can't be a professor minimum. Now, art history is another stuff. You got to go do that PhD thing. But, and then you church folks, you know what PhD in my world is? Praise him daily. Thank you. Praise him daily. That's my PhD. Praise him daily. Get a plan for this. Be the solution of what you didn't have. And that's a plan I just gave you. You said, I'm just graduating, I can't go anymore. Yeah, you can. Who says you can't? So you've been ACAD next at elite school trained, and you hang out at Howard Film, MFA program in film? That's a hookup to be professor. And you would have got your degree, got your exposure. The difference is they're 2 different things. And art school will always be specialized. And one of my findings is that the problem that we have is because it's specialized, a lot of families are not particularly supportive because, you know, we're first generation going to college, and, you know, dad says, oh, we're not paying for that. we're not paying for that. And this is what puts us behind the 8 ball, you know, in just going to school. Yeah, oh, I'm not paying for that. We're not doing that. You better go be a doctor or lawyer if I'm paying for this. Okay, so these are some of our issues of going to art school, art college, art design college, over and against liberal arts, where, you know, it's important for us to be doctors and lawyers and this, and get a job. This is our community. This is who we are. Get an education, get a job. Our families and our culture and our background, we don't understand this. And so with that said, it's a trip where you have to learn to walk alone and be courageous, but understand that 2 different kinds of institutions, and they're going to give you 2 different, understand what a HBCU is about, and understand what a design school is about. And don't expect one to be the other. Get real clear. I'm in and out of design school. I can't worry about them liking me. I can't worry about me not liking them. I can't worry about being lonely. I can't be worrying about I can't worry about it. I'm in here to get out. I'll say that again. I'm in here to get out and to be the best while I was in, so I can have a better tomorrow. And these degrees are going to give you, they're going to give you access, and you must have them. Okay, that's all I have to say about this. They're two different experiences, and whatever you do the best of it. That's what my dad said. My dad, I had family support. And when he died, Lisa, he left me money to go to school. And he said, when I was in high school, what's your plan? I said, oh, I know Papa's not gonna let me study art. But I went out and I found an art college. And I said, okay, I got it. I'm gonna get a bachelor's for you, and I'm gonna study art for me. And I didn't realize how much support he actually gave me. He said, well, Cheryl, I want to support anything that you want to do. Just be the best. If you're going to do it, be the best. Papa died and left me money, and I honored two things spoken in my life. Cheryl, be the best. Papa, from heaven, you got to be proud. Okay. Eitan, my chair, make a contribution. Well, God knows I've made a contribution to the Design America USA. Look, just put it together and have a vision, guys. And so that's what I feel about it. HBU is, look, I love All American Homecoming. That's it in a nutshell. You want to know what an HBCU is? CW on Monday nights, All American Homecoming. Okay, I grew up on Howard's campus. I'm a DC girl. I'm hand dancing in the parking lot with everybody. Okay, and homecoming and listen, that's HBCU, and you learn things that PWI. So if you want the experience, go to grad school. Or if you go undergrad, go and pick the one that has the strongest design departments. And guess what? Still go to grad school. Still go to grad school. I'd go to Morgan. And still go to grad school. When you finish Morgan, go over to Micah, it's across the street. Because we need professors. And we need you equipped. And we need you competitive. All right, next question. I hope that puts some light on it. I love HBCU.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
The ones that are stellar in design, follow Kalina Kalina Sales, yeah. Follow her, Tennessee State. Morgan, 20 years, AIGA, Dr. Sweeper. He's at Morehouse. FAMU, look, where can I study? You Google that, FAMU's #1. I think it's #1, #2.
I
All
put
right.
as many links in the chat as I could capture as Cheryl was saying them. So
Right,
check
right.
that out later.
Right. Be encouraged and know, and your answer to your high school, what can the high school kids do?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you something. And nobody in your family know how to go to art school. If you're Black in North America, not one. There's not a family member, unless you're my daughter or my son. And nobody know how to go to art school. So this is on you. And with that said, fine, you all just made Dr. Jacinda Walker. Find a program like her. High school programs, you can join Cooper Hewitt has high school programs. Pratt has high school programs. Everybody has high school. Start working on your portfolio so that it's not where you choose, is where you're chosen. You're in the art club. We had art in high school. Put your work in contests. Get in your contests. Get into extracurricular activities. Get into youth programs like Dr. Walker's. Okay, they're all around. Even ask her, can we do a Zoom one? Ask her. You all can develop, write a grant and all of that. Have her program zoomed in. She's one of yours. You gave her a degree. You asked her to empower you and set you off. Was it last year, year before?
Last year, yes.
So you write a grant. That's the next thesis. Write a grant and Zoom in Dr. Walker. Come up with your high school program. Right in the, and this is what I mean. See a problem, be the solution. CJ, we need Black professors in film. Go to grad school. You can't do it without grad school. Be the solution to what you saw you didn't have. I just gave you a great idea. Write a grant, get Dr. Walker, get a high school program. Pratt has one, everybody's got one. You might have one. Zoom her in, pay her via the grant, whatever. Ringling's got a high school program. Okay. A feeder in, work on portfolios, take art and winning contests. This business is about recognition. So don't be afraid to go to the museum classes. The extra Saturday morning. You know what? You know what our community does, Lisa? You know what we do, guys? We push our kids. We push our kids to play basketball and football. You going to D1 school. You're going to D1, and we're out there on those fields, okay? And I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna kill these poor children trying to get D1 scholarships. So the same kind of verb and energy to do that, the museums have programs. In DC, the Smithsonian, you got all kinds of, Cooper Hewitt, they have online stuff. Get involved, ask your art teacher to get you into these extracurricular. If you can go to if you go to basketball practice, you can go to art online. Okay, you can put your work in contests and start winning. I won my first award when I was 10 years old. Expose yourself early, and you're gonna have to do it because everybody in your family, nobody's like, you doing what? You're doing what? I'm like, I don't think so. And you're saying, oh, Granny, leave me alone. I'm going to do this, and then it's always, it's indigestion at Thanksgiving, Yeah. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. Okay.
All right. Moving into the next question, Ms. Miller, she just mentioned some of the factors or things that we go through as Black students wanting to get into design. And so I have a question for the whole panel. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome or felt like you weren't good enough throughout your time here at Ringling? And if so, what are some things that you tell yourself, or what have you done to combat those negative thoughts? And I'll start with Jesse.
Yeah, I feel like I get that all the time. When you get awards and things, it's then you also start to question too. You're that valuable, whatever. So it's something that happens to me all the time, and I think part of the reason for me that imposter syndrome is because when you, I guess, start to achieve higher and you're recognized with that, then it feels like it's become this expectation, like everything you create needs to meet that. And that's kind of something that I had to sort of look at. Again, going back to why am I doing this? It's at first creating art for my own sake, and then creating art for those who come after me. So that's the things I have to look at that keep me moving forward, and realize, yes, I'm worth these awards that I get, and but I'm not limited or just defined by those. I'm achieving in my own way, and it's something I have to remind myself. Even just this week, creating thesis, there's just a moment in time I'm like, none of this is good enough. None of this is where I want it to be. But it's just kind of moving forward and finding the inspiration to continue on.
Right, Kia.
It always takes me like 10 years. Never mind. Okay, like my unmute button. But so basically, like outside of the academic side, just like the community on campus, sometimes I'll be feeling like an imposter because I always seeing people and I'll be like, why don't I know you? Like, why don't I know you? And it's just like, sometimes I'm just like, why am I here? Like, like generally, like the question that you asked earlier about like, why didn't you go to HBCU over here? And then some, like when you're asking this question about being an imposter, I'm like thinking like, sometimes I'm like, why didn't I go to a HBCU sometimes? So yes, I want to say yes to the imposter question, just because I feel like the community that like it could be at Ringling in that like aspects, it could be better. And just like building it to get better for the years that are coming is the like, that's like the goal for me. Like it's because I don't want people to like come and then be like the same, like feeling how I'm like feeling like throughout my years. I'm like, let's like build this to where we do have that community to where you aren't feeling like, oh, like where's like, because I grew up in the community to where we were like, oh, we would have cookouts, like let's go like have these big family reunions, and then you're like, okay, and then you're just like, all right, I don't see anybody, but you find your people, but can we like find them faster, please? But yeah, that's where. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned about making it better, and I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but you mentioned making it better. Um, how so? Do you have any other examples of other institutions that might be an example of how to make it better? What do you mean by make it better?
I think overall for me is trying to build those communities on our campus, and
Okay.
like, cause I'm like, we started the BSU this year, and I'm pushing to like find everybody and be like, join BSU, because we need to like start like collaborating with even Newtown. Like we're literally in the middle of Newtown. Why is there like no like big collaboration? Like we need to like really collaborate with the world around us and not just be like stuck at Ringling, like where are my people, you know? So I feel like it's just like building the overall community at Ringling instead of just like, I don't know. Like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. CJ, do you feel like an imposter at times?
Honestly, not really. Mainly because I like know why I'm here and I know I'm supposed to be here regardless if I'm the only Black film major, at least there's one Black film major, type of deal. So not really imposter syndrome, but speaking on like the other part of that question, other factors that make me feel not included. Going back to before I even came to the school, once I got accepted, I got a letter in the mail saying like the top 20 films that every film major should watch. None of those films were by Black filmmakers. So I mean, that's what I have to say about that. Yeah.
Right.
Can I jump in again?
Yes.
Okay, first off, you're not in this by yourself. And charging which is, I'm doing the heavy lifting with that. I'm charging my colleagues to be responsible to a diverse community. Okay, so a part of that is advocacy to your department and making the department and professors accountable to change and to accept a brand new demographic. It's just not Black folks on design campus. Okay, and the Asian community, the Hispanic community, the entire everybody that's not white. Okay, each affinity group has the same issue, and a part of the work is advocacy for the department to grow. Can't everything be Swiss? Okay. Now let me share with you. So a part of that, I heavy lift with that. I'm on here all the time. Okay, come on, professors. White default. I'm doing the heavy lifting. Okay, but you can too. You can go in and have conversation. Okay. Don't be apologetic about what? Oh, get past that. You are. And just like Jay-Z and Tyler Perry, okay, they will tell you, we all have a gift. Jay-Z says, I just found it. Tyler Perry says, there's nothing special about me. I'm just doing my gift. Do your gift. That's unimportant. Get it real quick, find it and do it. And stand up. God gave it to you. He did, all right. And we each have one. And one of the things that we center on, we got 3 church folks here. Okay, listen, my daughter's graduating right along with this class. And one of the things that has kept my daughter in white school is I happen to have been affiliated with mission and a church in the same town as her college. And when she started as a freshman, I took her up there and I put her in care with the church. Why should you go to college and change what you did when you went home? Okay. And so, look, praise and worship on Friday nights, praise and worship on Saturdays. Where's campus ministry? That's who we are as a people. We got pastor's son. Okay. I know you all can do, you know, chord 1, 2, and a third and a fifth and hallelujah. I know you can do that. Okay. And then party. So keep the center of who we are. It's by the grace of God. I'm speaking to you, this community, Black folks. Everybody else want to listen? You call me in for this. We praise him. Hallelujah. I told you, I got my PhD. Praise him daily. If I ever forget this, if I ever lose sight of that, I will crumble in this. This is who we are. Just have Gospel Friday night and everybody bring a dish. And watch All American Homecoming. They got one, now she was a professor, now she's the president. They all go to their house on Friday nights. Whosoever will. Be the difference on campus. And who is a kid, make it. Make your space. That's what a design means, to make a space. Everybody's making a space. Make the space. You cannot wait for others to do this to solve our problems. And if you feel the problem is your white professors, you're paying tuition just like the white kids. Somebody's paying the tuition. Or student loan, you still got to pay it back. Listen, I'm a child of the civil rights era. I'm like, you know what? And my dad left me money to go to school. We're going to get everything. And the best thing I ever did was to take my daughter, just coincident that a church I served for 25 years was almost across the street from campus. And as mom, I took her, and the saving grace of her being blessed, listen, let me tell you, keep pieces of your life that keep you whole. I got to celebrate my daughter. I'd have to. She left out of here playing soccer. She says, Ma, I don't want to go to college and play soccer. I'm going to D1, but I don't want to play women's soccer. I want to study. These are her decisions. Okay. I said, okay. So she gets out to her college. And what does she do after the freshman year? After she got herself together, she signed up. Genius. She signed up with the city to be she's got a team. She's a soccer coach. I'm like, okay, that's who you are. I placed you in care. She takes herself to church every Sunday. What kid in college takes themselves to church every Sunday? They watched over her. She kept her faith. She kept her hallelujah on. Because this stuff will drive you crazy, guys. You can't even find your barbecue ribs. Okay. I mean, really, you got to take care of yourselves out here. You got to do it. No one's going to do it for you. All right. Then she found an internship. You got to have work. You got to have internships. So she worked. You played ball in school? Keep playing ball. You go to church, and then find somebody that's going to love you. Try, like, there's somebody in your family, you FaceTime them every week. Stay connected to your family. There's somebody in your family doesn't believes in you, you know, even if it's granny thinking you're crazy. There's somebody, there's auntie, uncle, mom, dad, brother, somebody's rooting for you, if not everybody, the whole church. How you gonna be pastor son and the whole church not rooting for you? You gotta gird yourself up. I'm speaking to you because I know you guys. Gird yourself up and be all you can be. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Let's do it. If you're gonna do it, do what my dad say, be the best. So you look for the best opportunity. You excel. You keep your foot to the pedal and you compete. Don't choose, be chosen. And if you don't like the state of affairs, go to the department. Let me tell you something. This department already will never be the same. I have no idea what it was, but it will never be the same because it's willing to grow with the industry. It's willing to grow with pedagogy. It's ready to survive because schools that cannot grow with a changing demographic will close. This department, I don't know much about it other than you all are loving me. You've invited me and you're behind Ms. Winfield. And I got to celebrate that. You're at the top of the list of the change that must take place in North American pedagogy and art and design colleges in North America. You're in a good space. It's welcoming. It's listening. So go knock on the door and say, you know, Professor Miller said. Now I'm here, I'm a part of the family. Professor Miller said I could knock on the door and talk, have a conversation. This is not all your issue. If this department wants to survive, it must grow with the industry. And it has to be decolonized. It has to become diverse. It has to become welcoming. It has to recognize itself other than Scandinavia. It's got to. Because there's so many other places to go, and there are a few places that are addressing the change. So help the department change. Ms. Winfield, you've done a great work.
Thank you.
And if anybody there, say Professor Miller said. Okay.
All right, our time is winding down, so I'm gonna go into a fast round of questions. So I'm just gonna go around the screen after I ask the question, and the first answer that pops into your head is what you're gonna give me, okay? What is your motto, starting with Miss Miller?
Oh, I have so many. Which one you want?
How about to live your life is your story?
To live your life is your story. To live your life for others is your legacy. Okay.
Love
Let's
it.
do that one covered. That to live your life is your story. To live your life for others is your legacy. I have lived my life for you. Each one of you. I have lived my life for you. And my church kids, I preach taking nothing for the journey. I'm called to live my life for you. May you be inspired. May you be empowered. May you take your place in this industry. If you do your best, let God do the rest. Okay? I have an expectation, each one of you. And you find me on LinkedIn and you stay connected with each other. Look, this is Palm Sunday. Y'all know how to have church. Let them come into Jerusalem. And they'll be worrying about, get your strength from each other. You got to pray yourself through. Do you know, Lisa, that when Stanford came to pick up my things, you know, all of my life's work, 50 years of it, I got another patch here the next 50 years, but the first 50 years, all of my records went. And I forgot, I wrote a prayer. It's called a Black Designer's prayer. Because I was the only one. And I said, Lord, really? Can you help a sister out? So since I'm talking about community, okay, use your God-given strength and power. Wherever, and in theology, okay, and then be conclusive, wherever you see he or she, because God can be, you know, I know my God, know your God, whoever he or she might be, get your strength and your power and stand up. Maximize your gifts. Living your life is your story. Living your life for others is your legacy. Leave a legacy. There you go, my friends.
Thank you. Jesse, your motto?
Well, some of my friends have heard me say this a lot, but I say, if I eat, you eat, which, you know, to me means, you know, if I get an opportunity, I would like for you to get the same, you know, we eat at the same table.
Ja'Cory.
It's a good one.
My motto, and it's something I've been following every day of my life, it's helped me reach and achieve everything I've ever dreamed. It's my secret formula, and it rhymes. Here it goes. Never give up. There's always room to level up. Now, hold on. I want to just explain that to you. Never stop reaching success. Always strive to achieve your highest potential. When people discourage you, use that as your motivational push to level up. Prove that you can do whatever you set your mind to. The sky is not the limit. The limit is whatever you set it to be, making you the only one who can determine your own success or failure in life. That's my motto.
Amen.
All right now. CJ?
My motto is be yourself.
I like it.
Like that.
Be
Kia?
authentic. Be authentic. You're right. That's what Jay-Z says. Just do you, boo.
Mine is communication is key, because if you don't know how to communicate, please. And then also live every day like it's your last. Just do stuff.
All right. And my last fast round question is, in a single word or sentence, describe your Blackness. Ja'Cory?
Oh, I'm glad you started with me. So I have a little, I'm gonna say sentence that would describe my Blackness. And it's just the past, the present, and the future, because I believe my ancestors are just living in me. Everything I do, everything I create, it's because the ancestors made that possible. I really honor my ancestors, everything I do, the African ancestry that I have my roots back in the Caribbean islands from my different sides of my family. And it's just when you know that, and when you can reach and touch that connection, make that connection with those different sides, and bring it into your work, bring it into your present and future, so the next generations to come, that's just, yeah, that's how I describe my Blackness. Yep.
Love it. Kia?
My one word is everlasting. It's not gonna change.
Okay. CJ?
My word is uplifting.
Jesse?
I guess sort of 2 words, but it's beautiful and empowering. And that's reflected in my work.
Yes. And Miss Miller?
Miss Miller has freed herself from one drop. You see all these pictures behind me? I have 4 grandparents, 4 different races, 2 parents, a combination of them, okay? I am genuinely, they call me OG BIPOC. I can finally come out of one drop. I am BIPOC. And OG is, I'm the original. I don't know another original as old as I am. I don't know another BIPOC designer. Okay, that is your elder. I am authentically. See these crazy people behind me? They're every race. I got a Filipino grandfather. I got a Ghanaian Danish grandmother. I have an African American grandmother, I got a white and American Indian grandfather. Okay, and when I was coming along, one drop ruling in census records, I had to be Black. I was raised African American. I'm a Black woman, but I'm authentically BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people, or persons of color. Okay, that term, I am authentic to that. You can't get any more authentic to that. I'm just not mixed race. I am BIPOC because I have all of these heritage all these origins and ethnicities that I have to reconcile myself with. I have Ghanaian DNA, okay? And that's from the Danish Ghanaian slave trade. I lecture from that, you know. I'm Filipino. I'm a Filipino and American Indian, okay, by both grandfathers. And so I reconcile that with my health. I'm of the red people. Okay, so I have to eat like red people. I don't eat like white people. I don't necessarily eat like Black people for my health. Okay, so all of this that I am is authentic. And that's why I have my crazy pictures. Okay, they remind me, Cheryl, this generation calls you BIPOC, so stand up in it. And I represent all of them because, you know, I cook all the dishes. You know, but I grew up when nobody got along at the dining room table. You know, like you don't want to grow up like I did with all these people from all around the world. And then, you know, the only thing we could do was be in DC and be Black folks, you know. And so what's exciting for me is that I'm genuinely, it's not a convenient term for me. It is so authentic. And I think also, Lisa, that's what's helping me in so many communities, you know, that, you know, someplace I'm Tia, someplace I'm Ate, someplace I'm Auntie, Auntie, Tia, Ate. You know, I'm in your family. Don't you have somebody like me in your family? Of course you do.
Well, what a wonderful way to end the discussion panel. I want to thank all of my panelists for joining me in this Where Are the Black Designers? And honestly, one last question to everyone, to all the panelists. Where are the Black designers? Miss Miller?
They're in me.
Love it. Jesse?
I'm just gonna say we're here, you know, we're around.
Yeah.
That's right. Ja'Cory?
I like what Ms. Miller said earlier. They're missing in action. They're there. They're working in the shadows, in the background. You don't know they're there. But once you find out who they are and what they're doing, and you make that connection, yep.
There you go. Kia?
Yeah, I want to say everywhere. They're everywhere. We just have to find them.
That's right. CJ?
Yeah, I 100% agree. They're in our community. They just need access the same way we have access to showcase and do what they do.
Yeah, you definitely have to know where to look. But once you go looking, you will go finding. So,
I seem to know everybody. So if you know me, they're in me. LinkedIn and Instagram. Just click into who's following me and who I'm following. You'll find a huge community. We're there. We're there. And the more you make a difference, the more we will be seen. And I thank you. God bless you all. I'm so proud of you graduates. And please connect if you're interested in more with me. Just connect with me on Instagram and connect with me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I repost jobs. I'll say right here, and there's a job, which means it's a job that I would take if I were your age, or it's a job that because I came through Jim Crow, they wouldn't let me have. So if you see right here, that means go apply. I would take it if I could. If it had come to me when I was young, I would have done it. If it's something that I think young designers need to do, I always say right here. So follow me. I post jobs all the time. And if there's anything I can do to help and be a blessing for you, I'm with you. And the best place to do that is stay connected with me. Okay.
awesome.
I just didn't come through here. Okay. And I know we have a time constraint, but I always like encore. Does anybody, chat, participants, panelists, do you have one question for me? I may never see you again like this in this close environment. You know, next time I see you, you might be up on stage and I'm like, do you remember me back in the day? I was seeing Nikita up on the stage someplace. I'm like, Nikita, you remember? So until then, and even Lisa, is there one question? I'll take one question as an encore, and we'll go home and may God bless us. And congratulations. I'm so proud of you all. I really, really am. It's a major accomplishment. And Nikita, I'm going to say it again. Lisa Helper, you want that, you want, make your footnotes, make your footnote and get it in the library.
I will.
And put the recording in. Put the recording in. You document Cheryl Miller. Document this.
Yep.
Footnote, footnote, footnote. Get it in the library.
Yes.
That's right. So now we'll take one question.
Yeah, and maybe from the chat. Maybe the participants, can they type in the chat?
Yes, and there's a Q&A section as well.
Okay, so I'm going to let you moderate that. We'll take one question. And for the panel, or if there's one specifically for me, say, you know, Professor Miller, can you answer this? Whatever you want to do.
I have one if there's no one in the chat, you know, I mean, it's just a quick one, but what's the best way to reach you?
LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on there every day.
All right.
Yeah,
Jesse, I put so many links for her.
Yeah, I see that LinkedIn one, but I just wanted to make sure
No,
that's the go-to.
Instagram.
Yeah, Nikita, you can tell them I'm a right now lady. If you see the green light on, that means I have time to talk. Right?
That's very true. Yes.
And on Instagram, if you see my green light, I might not be here tomorrow, COVID or something else. I could get run over. Catch me with when you see a green light, Miller is on. She's cruising social media. She can talk. Okay. You make an appointment for me. I might go to Glory. Oh, can I get on your schedule for next week? And I'm like, your Calendarly and all of that stuff. You better catch me while you're seeing the green light. Okay. So, because I do my rounds. I do my post. I got a system. I do my post, I drink my coffee, I got my green light on, then I go into writing and this, that, and the other. And then, I've got a system for social media because I got to take care of all y'all. I'm working the crowd. So LinkedIn or Instagram. And if you see the green light on, you just message me and I usually take care of it right away. So did we have that extra question? Did somebody from the participants or anybody?
I didn't get any in the chat. Nikila, do you want to ask one last question directly to her?
Yeah, sure. What do you like to do outside of art and design?
Oh,
something like a pastime.
Yeah, I travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to travel. And I've been kind of quiet since pandemic. But traveling with my family has really been a blessing. My husband has been, I said he's been in international business and we grew up together. We were in high school together. And it was his career that his company moved us to New York City. And he's been in international travel. And so he'll go on business trips and wherever he thinks family would like to go, he's taken us. So I've been to most countries, and my maternal family is from the US Virgin Islands. And so, I just love going to the beach. Okay, so I have a home in St. Thomas, and I do that. Traveling is big, and it's a time for my family and we travel a lot.
Nice.
Before pandemic, and St. Thomas, I go, that's my other home. And then during the summer, I paint. I have an outdoor studio underneath my home, and I paint. Yeah, and I cook, and yeah, so I like to dance. I'm a DC girl. I like to dance. So I grab my husband, and I don't get a whole lot of hand dancing north in New York, so there's West Coast swing and bachata. West Coast swing and bachata. Okay. So, but I mean, DC, I got hand dance. I grew up with American Bandstand. So if you all know what that is, Miss Miller likes to dance. And so there you go.
Awesome. Thank
And
you.
I love you all
All right.
from the bottom of my heart. So there you go. And I charged everybody now. Everybody do better.
I just
Jeff,
thank you.
Cheryl,
Thank you
you're
so
too.
much, everybody. I wanted to just jump in here with, I know, Dr. Miller, you have the favorite Booker T. Washington quote about success not being measured by the position
Please read it.
of a, not, our success is not to be measured so much by the position that one has reached in life, but by the obstacles which he or she has overcome. I know one of the quotes that I appreciate and that I put into every graphic design 1 class, although I don't know how many people remember it, is from Carl Sagan, who said, "We make our world significant by the courage of our questions and the depths of our answers." So, Dr. Miller, Nikila, thank you for the courage of your question. Panelists, Jacori, CJ, Jesse, Kia, thank you so much for helping us improve the depths of our answers.
Yeah, and I really, Jeff and Lisa, may I call you Jeff and Lisa?
Absolutely.
From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving this graduate this space. It is so unique. And this is not something that is done by your colleagues. Many are growing and changing, and hearts are warming to a new graphic designer in North America. And I appreciate this. I thank you on behalf of, for her. I thank you that you had me, you have me, you had me, you have me, and for giving her this space. May everyone prosper and your department continue to grow. And you always have me if there's anything you need.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, participants. We'll be getting this into the record, and Nikila now can get to work on the remainder of her thesis.
Right.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you. Best of luck, Nikila.
Hi, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
good luck, Kayla.
Boom, 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 boom.
Listen, I really want to thank you both.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, this is really very, very special. And
Mhm.
you know, every time I'm invited to these, I'm really I'm overwhelmed. And celebrate this time with your department because and share it, write about it, newsletter, brand it. It's going to put you in the leader of what's
Yeah.
going on out here.
I
And
know.
so
I think it's only the beginning for us here.
I
Mhm.
think it's a great foothold, but some of the students mentioned the Newtown community that's just next door to, just across the bayou from our school, but we've never really had a good connection with it. I think we've made inroads, but in terms of making our school more accessible for students, there's a lot of room for improvement for students of color,
Mhm.
especially from the neighborhood right across the bridge.
Yeah, and I'll inspire. We have challenges. Kalina Sales, when
Mhm.
this book she wrote with Alan Lupton. Okay, her entry in this
Oh,
one.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, if you read her words, she kind of really lays out what it takes to really embrace kids of color, all
Yeah.
of them, you know, and a lot of it is can we, and especially places that have resources, the things that we don't have, you know, back in the day as well, we just had a challenge getting art supplies. Now, as you got to have Apple, you got to have all the programs, you
Yeah.
have to have internet, and you can't compete if those things aren't in place, you know.
Yeah.
So, and scholarships, you can't compete if you're worried about, I got to
Absolutely.
register and I can't register.
Yeah.
So, you know, the resources, having the support to create the scholarships, sponsors, you know, that can make sure every kid that comes in has a, you know, a computer, and, you know, it's tough because I get more excuses. The internet went out. I'm like, okay. Well, but the one, you know, the one that breaks my heart, the one that breaks my heart is my computer is full
Mm,
and I can't back it up. Okay. And I lost my work. I can't save my work. That one is popular.
Yes.
Okay. So it's all these little things that we have to compete with, that if we don't have those equal art supplies, all right, that's where when you hear the youth talking about feeling in many cases inadequate or imposter and all of that, it starts with, do you have the same computer that we're working with? Okay, does everybody have an Apple? You know, does everybody have the program? And do you have the basic programs? So do you have the Adobe Suite? You know, and you know, now you got all kinds of other things on top of just the basic Adobe Suite. You know, everybody's doing Procreate and this, that, and the other, and now we got AI and all of this. And if you can't keep up, just even with the internet service, it's going to be impossible. And so you already come to the table behind, you know, behind the gun. And those are the kinds of things that you can help to embrace all of the kids that are coming in from diverse backgrounds. It's just not the African American community. And down in Florida, you got the Hispanic community, and you know, everybody's got this, that, and then up the coast, honestly. And you're recording me, so
yeah.
you know, only when I die, when I tell people when you're recording me, and if I told you something off record, I said when I'm dead, go ahead and you can release the tape. But these are the ideas and things that, you know, will help make the kids, make the playing ground even.
Yeah.
You know, so they can compete, little things.
I know we just came from, the department heads just came from a meeting with, we've got a new vice president of enrollment management and admissions here. And our previous one retired a couple of years ago. So it's a new position. And I was encouraged by the new tools for promoting and outreach that our new director has. And I mentioned this, that this panel discussion was going on tonight, and so I'm definitely going to be sharing this as part of that, as a resource too for future admissions and enrollment.
Yes, please. And you know, and you have me, okay, and
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you have my colleague, you know, you all consecrated her, Dr. Walker, you know.
Yes.
So you have access to the leaders of our community, you know, and so I celebrate you. I thank you for making the difference. And you know, I've been really, really invited to some nice spaces, you know, to help. And the kids deserve it. You know, they do. They want to study too. And this is the first time in my journey working with this for 50 years. Thank God. I hope I don't look like as old as I am, but I'm getting away with it. Trust me. I'm holding up. I'm holding up. And I got a sense of humor. I'm better, not bitter, you know. But Jim Crow tried to snatch my portfolio out of my hands. I want you to know that. Okay, so I'm old enough to know to tell Jim Crow, oh no, not here. That's right. But yeah, and so I have these missions now that I want to inspire departments and professors to grow. I have tremendous support from University of Texas. You know, they gave me space to develop my class. Lisa, you know about my class.
Yeah, I do.
And we're making it, they're working on making it extended learning so the professors can it's like continuing it. Just look at it. And once you finish my class, it's not so much that you teach my class, but you'll be able to enhance your syllabus. And that's what needs to happen, is we have to move from our modernist syllabus and open up, and so that the kids feel themselves, you know, in the class, and their solutions. And one of the things that I was kind of tough, you know, but what's real is my community in my community, it's all the kids now, but my point of departure, the Black community, is they want their projects to be understood. And I'm quite frank with them. Unless you think the BET is the only one that's going to hire you, we need to do more things.
Mhm.
You know, unless you think BET is going to be the only corporation for you, we've got to learn the whole business. And we feel this sense of inadequacy. My professors don't understand the projects. Okay, but those voices need to be told. Like I had one student from Leslie. She did a project that I'm like, oh my God, but it's today's generation. I'm like, oh my God, what a bold project. It's called, she did her book, you know, we all have to have these books, right? Called Sagging. And she analyzed the sagging pants all the way from little Negro boys being lynched and the pants, all the way through the prisons, all the way up to Justin Bieber with his Calvin Klein ad.
Oh my God.
She took it all the way from lynching, the history of sagging, all the way up to Justin Bieber and Calvin Klein. I said, oh my God. But I'm like, but she's working and got a job. What can I say?
Amazing.
It's amazing. But honestly, those kinds of projects throw the typical European male white professor off. Like, oh my God, what do I do with this? And I can't, what do I do with this? How do I respond to this? Okay, what do I do? And we bring we boldly bring these projects, hair projects. That's big. Hair projects.
Yeah.
Carnival and festival projects. All of these unique experiences that make us as professors uncomfortable. So a part of, that's why I put in that conversation, a part of this is on us as professors to work on us. We have to work on ourselves, okay, to embrace more culture and a unique demographic that is, and some of my facts, there are fewer white folks, little kids going to design school than kids of color. And a lot of my work is research, Pew reports, and things that I write. The Pew report shows, I think the one that I've been following it for the last 12 years, tell us the truth that we don't want to accept. And I think it was 2021. I have my notes and articles and things. Pew report and the announcements, there are more mixed babies than white babies. So somebody should have been paying attention to that. Okay, should have been paying attention to that, because those white babies are going to be fewer growing up going to college because they don't exist. See, so a lot of this is just kind of reading the tea leaves and warning your college kids are going to look different because they're not being born. Right. Yeah. And so this is a reality check. Yeah. Okay, so you just look at the statistics, and then for the first time, I think it was the census last year or year before, said the white population is not the majority. CNN and Fox went crazy on that, but that's US Census records, see? And so once you really start looking at politics, the culture, where we are, if we don't accept what we see, if we don't adjust, we will fail to be. We won't exist.
Do you think this kind of leveling out is helping to decolonize Black society or Blacks in the design world? I mean, are we sort of reaching more of an equilibrium where there's not the overabundance of white, that we're starting to just sort of create more of a neutral mixed race?
It's more mixed, but it's just not Black and white mix. That was monochromatic through my years.
Yeah.
It was all white and me. Okay, I mean, really. So
Yeah.
life isn't monochromatic. So it isn't really just all the African American community.
Yeah.
Okay, it isn't. And we have to be ready, and a big demographic that must be respected is the Pan-Asian international student. It's a very, very dominant force in certain areas of the academy.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's real because they're international students that can come in and pay the tuition.
Yes.
Okay, and so it's not just monochromatic Black and white. My work is now expanded to everybody. My class is, I teach decolonizing graphic design from a Black perspective, but I don't care if you remember my Black perspective. The point of my class is the prompts. You use my work as example. Let me show you how I did this. And it's your voice, the analysis of your family. It's your writing, your narrative, your story that wraps around this canon. And you must know the canon. Oh my God, I'm a canonizer. You can't be in design if you don't know modernist canon. I'm sorry, you can't. You've got to know Megs. Close your eyes. You've got to know it from hieroglyphics. You know, okay. But his is not the only story. And so that's where my course, helps the students to be bold in your narrative. And I get some beautiful stories. And especially in Texas, because it's very, very welcoming and diverse. And the leadership there is really the colleagues, very collegiate and very open to address this diverse community. And I noticed, so the schools that invite me are the most aggressive ones. So when I get an invitation, they already know I'm coming with my arsenal. They already know. So if you don't want to change, you don't call Cheryl Miller. Or if you're not in the progress, I'm not the one. So I pay attention to my invitations. And I was just with University of San Francisco, and I meet so many kids, and they're from all over, and so that's the respect now that my work is. Yes, I'm always going to have an affinity to my African American community, but because I'm so unique in my heritage and my background, I relate to so many kids, and even now in second generation, my family, my brother married a Colombian woman raised Mexican. My niece and nephew are Mexican, okay? With my crazy background, they're being culturally raised Mexican. And so I think that's why I'm kind of getting around like I am, because I look like Tia, I look like Auntie, and I look like, Ate. That's a little bit of everybody. I tell the kids, just don't call me abuela. Don't call me abuela, or nana, or granny, or none of that. I'm Auntie. And Nikita, I'm an auntie, okay? Auntie. No, nana and abuela. That's not going to work. Right there, you get off my family. You're off my family tree. You call me nana. Okay, so that's the truth of what's out here. And so when I find a community as yourselves that is willing to grow and listen and be open and do these kinds of things, acknowledging Dr. Walker, acknowledging this. This is a first. I've never seen this. This is second, third generation of my work, and it demands celebration when you write your newsletters, your conferences. Use it to brand and invite. your story, put it on the website, you know, hashtag it. God knows, and my name draws attention, just put it up there. I'm like, whatever we have to get this done, do it.
Mhm.
Because the world out here for design and the kids, it's not the same as when you and I, you know, I was the only one in your class, Jeff. You know, I was the
Yeah,
strange one of
yeah.
what is she, you know? And back in the day, it was just the Hispanic community was Puerto Rican. Well, she must be Puerto Rican. Okay. So you know, now listen, I'm telling the truth. So I was the only one in your class, Jeff. Who was there? What? So thank you. Congratulations, everyone. And
Yes.
you have me for more always. God bless
Great.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank
God
you.
bless you. God keep you.
Bye.
Have a great evening.
Yeah, Nikita, I'm very proud of you. God bless.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.